Hello dreamers, this is Maya Joy KahNah and welcome to my video on North Node in the 5th house. Before we get started talking about the specific aspects of this placement, I wanted to briefly explain how to calculate the house of your North Node. So in order to know which house your North Node falls in, you will need to know your exact birth time and date and place. And once you know that, you can put that information in the calculator that I have linked below, and that will generate for you your full natal chart. Once you have that, you want to look for the little slice of pie there that has the number 5 right at the center, and that'll be on your lower right hand side, and you want to see what's there in that number 5 slice. And if you have there a symbol that looks like a horseshoe, then that means that your North Node is in the 5th house. This, in my opinion, is a very positive placement for the North Node. The North Node in the 5th house means that you are coming from a lifetime in which you were likely very involved in service to others, and you're coming from a lifetime in which you were part of creating change in society, and you were probably part of a very significant group of people. And in this lifetime, you are coming back home to yourself, and you're coming back home into your own sort of heart, and you almost have this responsibility in this lifetime to focus on the things that bring joy and fulfillment and happiness to your heart. So you're likely coming off of a lifetime in which your purpose was to help society by bringing the dream of a better world into reality. Or you were working for the greater good, maybe involved in politics or humanitarianism, or somehow bringing a vision, a greater vision down to earth. And that's a really wonderful thing to have done recently. But sometimes when we get involved in these organizations and when we start to look so much at the big picture and what's needed for the big picture evolution of humanity and what kind of changes we need to bring in, we can actually forget about the pleasures of life. We can actually forget about ourselves when we're so focused on, making the world a better place and making humanity better. Then we can forget that what we really want and what feeds our heart and soul is also really important. And as a soul, we're definitely here to be in service to others and to understand humanity and society as a whole and to understand the people around us, but we're also here to understand ourselves as an individual and understand what feeds us. And we're also here to realize that it's okay to have fun, and it's okay to love life, and it's okay to be happy. And if your North Node is in the 5th house, then you're meant to focus on the better things in life. If your North Node is in the 5th house, you're meant to tune out of that narrative about what needs to change in society as a whole, and you're meant to allow yourself to enjoy this moment, and you're meant to allow yourself to have fun fulfilling your purpose on the planet. And if your North Node is in the 5th house, it is so important to do work that you love and to let go of feeling like your work has to be important and it has to change the world, or it has to change the government, or it has to serve the people in need. Gently allow yourself to release that commitment to the whole and start to think instead about your commitment to your own heart. Do you love what you are doing. Does your work make you happy? Does your work make you feel like a star? Are you in love with your life? If you have North Node in the 5th house, then your destiny is to be able to say yes to all of those questions. In understanding your unique destiny with North Node in the 5th house, it's very important to take into account the sign of your North Node. You want to learn about that North Node sign and what it represents, and then you want to apply the 5th house energy to it. Maybe your North Node is in Virgo, and so you have your North Node in Virgo, and that's the sign that you're meant to represent. And so with your North Node in Virgo, you're here to bring healing to the planet and to help improve day-to-day life and to help bring in nutrition, for example. That some of those are Virgo qualities. But if your North Node's in Virgo and it falls in the 5th house, then you've got to do it in a way that is fun and that is creative. It can't be super serious. So if you've got that Virgo and all of a sudden it lands in the 5th house, then all of a sudden, you know, your teaching of nutrition and bringing health and nutrition to the planet, it becomes a play. And all of a sudden you find that your job is to create a stage show where you've got, you know, kids dressed up like grapes and a lettuce leaf, and they're talking about, you know, what they're doing in the body that's helping the body to be healthy and wonderful. And that's what happens when you take a North Node and you put it in the 5th house. Yes, you need to fulfill the destiny of the sign of your North Node. That's really important, but you've got to do it in a way that feels vibrant and fun. You have to kind of let go of the need for your destiny to reach a bunch of people. That could be something that is sort of a karmic understanding, like I need to make a destiny, you know, something, do work that touches a bunch of people, and just think about, you know, how can this touch my heart? And maybe that's going to be on a small scale, maybe it's going to be on a big scale. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are putting out that heart energy in the work that you're doing, and that you're making, most importantly, you're making yourself smile, and you're just feeling like that deep sense of fulfillment through your work, that you're feeling in love with what you do. And it's not always going to be easy to find that sense of fulfillment in the work that you're doing right away, but it is your destiny to find it, and it is your destiny to go to work every day with a smile on your face and to lose yourself in the work that you're doing because you love it so much. And speaking of you loving it so much, it's you that has to love the work that you do. It's you. It does not matter if your friends think that your job is valid. It does not matter if society says that the work that you're doing is valuable. It doesn't matter if your family says that the work that you're doing is valuable. With North Node in the 5th house, you have to let go of the need for other people to validate your profession. And you'll probably find yourself in a bit of a quagmire where what you really want to do, it offends society, or it might be considered non-prestigious or non-important. The people in your life are likely to not understand why on earth you would want to do the thing that your heart wants to do, and yet your destiny is to do it anyway. To do it anyway, because your commitment in this lifetime is to you and your heart. Your commitment is to you and to your heart so much more than your friends, so much more than society, so much more than humanity. And that's why I say that North Node in the 5th house is really a positive aspect, because in order to come into balance as a soul in this lifetime, your karmic responsibility is to feel love and happiness and to find that work in the world that brings you that deep sense of fulfillment. And that's such a wonderful thing and such a wonderful path to be on. With North Node in the 5th house, you're here to find that confidence, in what you do that comes from within you and that doesn't come from outside of you. You're meant to rise up and actually be recognized eventually for the work that you're doing, and that's going to come from feeling confident about what you're contributing and from knowing that the most successful people in the entire world are always the people who just follow their heart and just receive that divine inspiration that comes from their own passion and their own creative impulse. And you're meant to be one of the people who succeeds in that way. North Node in the 5th house often benefit from working with children because children are naturally creative and children naturally approach life typically in a very playful way. So if you have your North Node in the 5th house, you might want to think about, how can I take this destiny and how can I bring it to children, or how can I bring a childlike energy to what I'm doing? So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're working with children, but how can you work in a way that is really childlike, or that brings out the inner child in other people. So maybe you don't really like to work with children, but maybe what you want to do is you want to operate a zip line or start a zip line business. And so maybe there's a little bit of interaction with children there, but actually you're bringing out the inner child of the adults who happen to come there. Maybe you want to work at Disney World. Maybe you want to work in the vacation industry. North Node in the 5th house also has to do a lot with romance. And so it's part of your destiny to feel that deep sense of love and to enjoy the process of dating and going out and having fun, because that's such a heart-opening activity. So North Node in the 5th house may find great fulfillment in actually doing work that has to do with relationships. North Node in the 5th house could find that they really want to work for Match.com, or they could find that they really want to work at a flower shop putting together beautiful flower arrangements, because that is creative, but also because it allows them to feel connected to the romance of living. Or North Node in the 5th house, maybe the North Node is in Taurus and it's in the 5th house, and the person may eventually find that their greatest destiny comes from opening a restaurant with just delicious food and beautiful music that really stimulates the senses, and making it a romantic environment where people can come to expand their love and feel in that heart vibration for a while. With North Node in the 5th house, you're here to embrace that sort of Leo energy, meaning that you're here to succeed on your own. And so as you go about approaching your destiny, it's important not to expect other people to pull you up. That could be a past life habit of believing, oh, I can only succeed when other people are helping me. I can only succeed as a member of a group, or I can only succeed as a member of a team. That is not true for you in this lifetime. You are meant to succeed on your own. You are meant to succeed through your innate sense of confidence and passion within yourself. And if you wait for other people to help you get there, it's possible that you will never get there. Your life is meant to make you the star. So with North Node in the 5th house, you want to think about, what sort of destiny am I trying to leave in this world? If you have North Node in the 5th house and you are an entrepreneur, or you're thinking about founding your own business, you want to actually give the business your name. Call it by your name, not an outside name. You want to get comfortable being recognized as a unique individual, and get comfortable being distinguished, get comfortable being on a stage. With North Node in the 5th house, you're likely to get thrust on some sort of stage at some point in your life, because there's this karmic need to be in the spotlight and to be seen and to be recognized. You want to ask that question, who am I, and what are the desires of my heart, and how can I take that risk and bring my heart desire into humanity, because humanity will benefit from your passion and your confidence and your creativity. And you have to believe that humanity is going to benefit more from you following your heart, rather than you sacrificing your heart's desire in order to serve a higher purpose. Humanity needs to witness you being in love with your life. With this aspect, there can be this need to want to have yourself recognized by your sort of weirdness or the ways that you're unique. Like you could form an identity around saying, this is, you know, the thing about me that is I do, nobody else does it, and that's who I am. And to sort of collect those different ways that you are unique, that's a quality of the 11th house, which is your past life. In this lifetime, it's not about, oh, I did this, or I own this, or I do this in a different way, and therefore that's, you know, how I stand out, because you have that past life karma of being a part of a group, and the ways that you stand out in a group are by distinguishing yourself according to, you know, things like, okay, well, you know, he or she is the one who dresses in that different way, or who eats in that different way, or who comes from that type of family. It's important not to form your ego or your identity around those things that make you unique, you know, that are external in this lifetime, but rather to form your identity around just having just the biggest, most open heart, and being loving and being happy and being fun. You are meant to be recognized in that way in this lifetime. Not because you're the one who, you know, drives that bright green car, but because you're the one who loves life. With North Node in the 5th house, you do need to date and be in relationships and have fun and enjoy the process of falling in love, and be really generous in your relationships, to give the little gifts, to give of your time, to just enjoy that process of romance. And with North Node in the 5th house, it's very likely that part of your destiny is to be able to sustain a romantic, loving relationship throughout your life. So it's very likely that marriage is part of your destiny, or even if it's not marriage, like a lifelong partnership where you constantly grow together and have fun together, and the person constantly reminds you to return to your heart. Love is a big part of why you are here. In regards to your love, though, it is very important that you don't just go for the partner who's different. There could be this desire like, okay, yeah, I want to love somebody, but they've got to be so different. They've got to be unique. With North Node in the 5th house, just go for the person who opens your heart. Just go for that person who helps you to feel more creative. Don't try to distinguish yourself through having a partner who is somehow different. North Node is in the 5th house. You want to look and see what other planets might also be there. Now, there may not be any other planets there, but if there are, you want to think of those planets as being your creative ally. That's your creative partner, whatever planet is there next to your North Node. Okay, so let's say that you've got Pluto there and it's next to your North Node. So then all of a sudden this Plutonian energy becomes your creative partner. So then not only are you creating something that's fun and something that's heart opening, but you also are creating something that's Plutonian. So your creative partner is helping you to transform. It's helping you to use creative power that comes from even the shadow. You know, it's helping you to bring power, you know, to create a powerful, transformative, creative experience with Pluto there next to your North Node, okay? And so that's going to be very different than if you have, say you have Mars there next to your North Node in the 5th house. Well, then this could say that you may find your creative purpose, it might actually be physical. It might be with Mars there, you know, maybe you actually are creating like a boot camp or something like that, or leading a sports team or something, or many other things that you want to look for those supporting planets and think about how you can bring those energies into your creative expression. With North Node in the 5th house, think about how you played as a kid, or how you wanted to play as a kid. What did you just love? What did you lose yourself in? What did you dream of being able to do as a child, and then do those things now as an adult? I think that this is a placement where you actually are intended to achieve your childhood dreams. Your childhood dreams, not the dreams of your friends and family, but your childhood dreams. What did you dream of doing? You're meant to do that in your adult life. I hope you've enjoyed this video on North Node in the 5th house. It has been such a pleasure to connect with all of you and to support you on your path. So thank you so much for watching, and namaste. Bye.